So how do you start a startup? Well, the first step will be you've got an idea. That's what's triggered you to do your startup. But the second step is the most important, and this will save you a lot of time and money. It's key to do the research, and it is something I do see a lot of people forget to do. They'll have an idea and they'll go gun-ho with their business, and they'll do all the steps which I'll cover now, and see it be a complete waste of time and money. So it's really important that you follow the second step, that once you've got the idea, you do the research. Make sure that the product or the service that you're selling is in demand, or the solution to a problem that you have is a solution that people want. It might be a good solution, but if it's not what people want or it's not sellable, then it's not worth doing. So always do your research. Don't go looking for funding. Don't set up a limited company. Don't go and get loans before you've done your research. Always do that. And if the second step followed does result in that you've got a viable business, then the next step is to look at the legal side of it. You need to legalize it, and that can involve many different things. So for example, if you're going into partnership with someone, is to make sure you have legal contracts. It's always great at the beginning to have a kind of non-formal relationship. No, it's great in the honeymoon period, but once serious money starts to flow in, then problems can arise, and I have seen it a lot. So, you know, get all the legal formalities in place, and it's not just about the relationship you have with any business partners, it's also in terms of patents or copyrights for the idea. Make sure you know what you're doing with that, because this will save you a lot of heartache in the future. So it's really important that you do get that, you know, the legal side of things sorted as well. So that would be the third step. The fourth step would be the accounting and compliance side of things, because that is important. If you do go down the you know, the limited company route, you've got legal obligations to file accounts. You've also got a legal obligation to file tax returns if you're a sole trader or partnership or a different sort of entity that you trade through. But you need to think about how you are going to trade. You know, is it going to be a limited company? Is that best for you? Is it a good tax structure for you? You know, you need to sort of do your research in that and find out what is the best way for you to trade. And then once you've come to a decision on that, it's also setting that up. And the accounting side, yes, there is the compliance side, but accounting is important for the day-to-day. So how are you going to track expenses? What system are you going to use? You know, your banking, how are you going to set up a bank account? What's the best bank account for you? What about in terms of accounting software? Are you going to use something like Xero or QuickBooks, or just do it on a spreadsheet? I mean, it's no coincidence that the businesses that are successful are ones that they have a good handle on the numbers and good accounting. So, you know, you've got to think about that structure and how that's going to be done for you. And I don't just mean just to satisfy compliance and just to do your tax returns. It is also involved in running the business. So once you've done that step and you've got all that arranged, then the next thing is about actually raising money. And every business needs money. It's the fuel that drives the business. And startup loans and investments, you know, they're there. I mean, investment will be hard to get. Most people don't like to invest in a startup, and if they do, they're going to want a big chunk of your business. But also, you know, loans, they carry a lot of risk. But there are startup loans available there. There are grants. There's tax schemes such as R&D, which you could benefit from. So there are sources, but ultimately you're going to have to put your hand in your pocket, save up, use savings, friends and family. These are really the sort of initial sources of funding to look at. And then once you've got all that, the next step would be then to market and how you would do that. So you've got to think about how you're going to market your business, how you're going to sell it, what channels. And that's really important to do, because obviously if you're not selling anything, you've not got a business. So they're the really important stages of setting up a startup. They're the things you've got to really think about. And then you look at the team around you if you want to start bringing in people to help you with that business. And I know there is a cost element of bringing in people, but you've got to start thinking about filling gaps that you can't do, you know, gaps in your knowledge. You know, we come onto the legal side and the accounting side. There's professionals that can help you with that. But if you want to do it all yourself, then that's great, you know, learn it and research it. But it is good to identify the weaknesses that you have and to be able to bring in the right people to do that. So I think in short, that's kind of, though, you know, if you follow those steps in setting up your startup, then you've set a good grounding for it. And then the next stage is to do what you do the business, sell it and run it, market it. That's what you've got to do. But having those foundations in place really give you a good grounding to be able to be a success.